Welcome. Wait, did we start recording? Yes, we did. Yep, I meant to say that. It's XP Galore, guys. We're back. My name is Rafael with my friends here. Introduce yourself, guys.
My name is Marcus, and I don't think I plugged anything in or turned anything on. Oh wait, yeah, I did.
Oh, God. This is great.
And I am Daily Captain Cummingsworth.
That's right. I'm Captain Stigma.
I've retired as a captain. I've given up.
I'm gonna try. We're not gonna try. So we're back. This is the final mission for the Pirate's Life.
Countdown.
Yes, I had this stuck in my head today. That was kind of weird. Very Matrix of you. But yeah, this is the last one, guys. So how do you feel? What's going on? Talk to me.
I wish they would do this more often.
Yeah,
These kind of little side missions with Sea of Thieves.
I know. I think I've already said it once before, but I really think that the three of us just off camera should find a way to play this like once a week or something. This is the first game so far I think we've all played that's like an ongoing game or something that I feel like is just fun enough that I would continue wanting to play it. It's so unique.
I agree.
Absolutely.
What's the highest rank that you can get in this game when it comes to like the status?
Oh,
I
you
have
mean
no
like
idea.
the battle pass?
No, not
No
is it
idea.
the no. Like like you have like the like I don't know, captain levels titles. The titles.
I honestly, Admiral? I don't know.
Okay, well, I guess you guys
I
don't know. Well, apparently you do get a title. The more you play the game, you get known, and I guess your name starts getting like I guess it's the name that levels up. I don't know. We'll look that up later. Nobody cares. I guess.
I'm just out to sail the seven seas and shoot
I'm
krakens
just saying,
in the face.
I'm trying to be the best pirate ever, and you guys don't even know that they rank us.
Hey, man, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You can't put a rank on greatness. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We're playing with Captain Jack Sparrow. You know how many times he struggled for people to remember he's a captain.
Every movie.
He's
Why
like the
can't I be
he's
like
like the
Jack?
Star Lord of the Caribbean.
That's true. Yeah. Wow. That's true. They both. Nobody knows who they are. Ah, I saw.
Nobody's
what you
gonna
did there.
know.
So
They're gonna know.
so what you're saying? So never mind. Let's just drop it, man. That sucks.
I feel like you're about to go down a rabbit hole that you weren't prepared to do so.
Yeah, I think he was not prepared at
I wasn't
all.
prepared for that. No. So what's up, guys? How you been? Daily, how's life?
Life, great. Gaming wise, fantastic wise. Gave up on Activision, but outside of that, I've been playing a lot of Apex and Splitgate. Just downloaded Destiny 2 to try, and I gotta tell you, man, my gaming experience is so much happier.
All right, do tell. I'm excited.
It's just different, man. You're not trying to customize weapons and be a meta. You're just playing the game, and of course there's different weapons and stuff like that, but you're playing on a skill base, and that's what I love more than anything. Yes, of course you have those people that tank their stats so they can get into horrible lobbies and, get these like 80 kills or whatever in Apex, but outside of those people, the game as a whole is just amazing. It's phenomenal. I can't wait for us to play it. It's just different. It's just giving me a new fresh breath of life. I saw the Ubisoft FPS as well. Pretty excited for that too as well. But it's just it's hard to explain. It's basically like I knew I was at a point in my Activision Warzone zombie pinnacle like career when I would win a game and I had no emotion with it.
Huh? That's strange.
Like, where you just win and you're like, cool, on to the next game. Like, that's how I was getting. And I was like, yeah, I just can't do this. If I can't find any kind of competitive drive or any kind of fun feeling, then what's the point of playing this game?
I thought that means you're in the zone because you're focused.
No, when you win and you're in the zone, you get hyped. Marcus knows when you do a raid and you get hyped because you win, you're pretty hyped. Not the case this past 2 weeks. So I took a break. I got all my buddies that I play with online, and I said, all right, because I have a buddy that's on the PS5 and I'm on the Xbox, and I have a buddy that has like a dual PC set up, and we were like, okay, what can we play that's cross-platform that'll actually give us a challenge and actually be something different? And so we came across Apex and we came across Splitgate. And so we said, let's try them both. By the way, if you're on PC and you want to get a Splitgate, just download it, load into it, and just leave it open because there's like an hour-long queue because there's so many accounts now. Yeah, there's so many accounts. So if you know you're going to play that day, just turn it on at night or in the morning when you first wake up and just load in and just let yourself be in the queue. Because once you get in the queue, you can't back out unless you quit the game. Like, you're in the queue, you're in the queue. It doesn't matter. Once you get in the queue, you're good.
Tips and tricks.
But yeah, I mean, it's so fun. I mean, there's this little exploit that's kind of like you got to be decent at the game to do it. And they're both controller friendly too, so that's what I like. Because you guys know me, I'm a controller guy.
Yeah.
And so Splitgate and Apex both let you do controller, but with Splitgate you can only get two portals, right? But people are doing like what's called a triple portal, which is you start to go into the first portal, but then you back out and then shoot into the second one, which then makes you cross over and you're allowed to do like a third portal. It's crazy. I haven't been able to master it because I'm just like, I get two portals and I'm just going to go play with my two portals.
That's the way. Is it a glitch or an exploit?
Yeah. So people are using it to their advantage.
Exploit.
I just play. I say, you know, they're flanking to the left, flanking to the right, they're high, low. I use communication rather than exploits, and I still shit on little kids. I mean, we won't have to bleep that out, but
we're keeping that baby in there.
You know, it's that little meme. Cue that little meme where they're like, "Get shit on, get shit on." Yeah, that's how I am, but in a more adult, conservative way.
Conservative. New word.
But yeah, I can't stress enough about how much fun I've had. And then I was talking to my buddy who's on Xbox as well, and I said, you know, my buddy Marcus plays this Destiny 2 thing. He's like, oh yeah, dude, it's great. I play it sometimes. I was like, okay. I was like, maybe we should play. And he's like, yeah, definitely. We'll get on and play and da-da-da. So I was like, all right. So I downloaded Destiny 2 last night. So I don't know if I'm going to try that tonight. Because my buddy wants to get ready to play the new Apex season starting tomorrow, I believe it is. Tomorrow or Wednesday, I can't remember.
You are hyped. I can hear in your voice.
Dude, yeah, like you guys know. You guys know. Every time you're like, "How's your gaming?" and I have to like take a deep breath. You know. Now I can't even breathe. I have to take a breath because I have to like be able to like not pass out from talking too much. But yeah, in the short, I'm having a lot more fun playing games outside of Activision's Raven software until the anti-cheat gets put in. This will probably be my last battle pass run in Activision.
Ooh.
I'm not going to pay for the level 100. I'm not even going to grind for level 100 until there's a difference in the cheating, because I'm sorry, but yeah, this is too much.
I know.
And well, I mean, and not only that, but they now have a console cheat because they No, let me finish. Let me finish. They recently they just did like a free access pass to Cold War, so people could download and play it. But now they're using it to their advantage for like cheats and stuff. So enough of that. But basically, yeah, I'm done until they can actually find an anti-cheat, which is sad because I actually believe that company could go far.
Yeah.
So, but that's been me. I love Apex. I love Splitgate. Still play like my sports games, MLB The Show, and all that stuff. But for the most part, I've been playing 4 or 5 hours on those games. But how are you guys?
Marcus, how are you?
I'm doing all right. That was just a lot to take in.
That was a lot to take in. So I'm laughing. I'm like, okay. We're all caught up.
Let me just start by saying that despite what Daly said, we don't actually think that Activision is a decent company. Activision is a pretty disgusting corporation through and through, and there's more and more information about that's been coming out. On top of that, though, personally, I'm doing pretty good. I too have been playing a lot of different things. I'm also gearing up for the new season of Apex that starts tomorrow. The big thing that I got to do recently was I was fortunate enough to get invited to play the Halo Infinite multiplayer technical test that happened this past weekend.
Yay! Hey, right here we're gonna edit it and we're gonna put the grunt blowing up their heads. You know, like yay!
Okay, I'll see what I can do about that. I don't want to get too much into it. However, to give you my short thoughts on it, I think it felt amazing. It felt like Halo. all the memories of Halo that I have. I didn't play much multiplayer from Halo 4 or 5, so I'm basing it off of mostly Halo 3, and it felt very similar. I found myself going right back into that same sort of rhythm that I used to have when I played Halo 3,
yes.
like the same kind of tactics and everything. It's a good game. It's a good.
I'm getting goosebumps.
It's a good game for several different reasons. For one, personally, it teaches me how not to rely so much on aiming down sights, because Halo doesn't really do that. In this game, there's a little version of it. There's like it's not so much aiming down barrel sights as it is just like a zoomed in view of whatever weapon you're using. So it helps me get out of the habit of doing that as much, because we didn't really have that in Halo, right? It was mostly Call of Duty that started that.
Yeah.
And now every game has it. It played well. I don't want to talk about like whether or not it was buggy, because I feel like that is a moot conversation, because this isn't even an alpha. It's a technical test. There's no point in sitting here and talking about what bugs you ran into and everything like that. It's literally not worth it to me.
No, you've been blessed. You've been honored to play this game before it's finalized, and that is super awesome, dude.
It was very cool. It was very cool. Yeah. So, if any of you listeners or viewers out there want to get in on something like that, it's not a super exclusive thing. All you have to do is sign up to the Halo Insider program. You can go to halowaypoint.com to be able to do that, and that's all I did. They'll have you select if you want to do just Xbox tests, or if you want to do Xbox and PC. Disclaimer: if you are doing PC opt-in, they are going to want you to run a quick little diagnostic and share the results from that. But it details exactly how to do that. They just want to make sure that your PC is able to kind of run it properly.
Yeah.
Marcus,
but what?
If you like not having to aim down sight, you should try playing Splitgate. That's all.
Bruh.
Okay, moving on. So in conclusion, I'm very excited for what Halo Infinite is going to bring. I think personally, with everything that's going on with Activision, I think Call of Duty is going to most definitely fall off this year, and Apex Legends and Halo and maybe one or two other games are going to bring up the slack, and it'll be a great time for everybody, in my opinion. So,
Yep. I agree.
I could not agree more.
Yeah. But other than that, as far as stuff I've been playing, I've been kind of dabbling in some other things. I think I mentioned last episode I was playing the New World beta from Amazon Game Studios, so that's done now. This week, there's going to be the early access beta for Back 4 Blood, which is the Left 4 Dead spiritual successor. I played the alpha back in December. It was a lot of fun. Looking forward to seeing what happens this week. On top of that, if I get
a lot of tops.
If I get selected for it, which I don't know if I'll get selected for it. I haven't heard anything yet since it's happening this weekend. But a few episodes ago, we mentioned the rumor and the potential release of a Tom Clancy shooter, right? That was going to meld a bunch of franchises together. Well, in the time that we talked about that, it did get announced. It was Tom Clancy's XDefiant. It's like an arena-based first-person shooter with factions from Ghost Recon, Division 2, Splinter Cell, and so
it's going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting. I'm not like holding my breath, because the last FPS I played from Ubisoft was Hyperscape, and it just it hasn't really done too well, so I'm not really too stoked, but I figured I would at least sign up for the opportunity to check it out. So that is supposed to also be happening this weekend on PC. So I will let you guys know if I get an opportunity to play that or not. But Back 4 Blood is definitely happening, because it's the early access.
Yeah, looks dope. I like the graphics.
But that's pretty much everything I've been playing.
Sweet. Yes, it's my turn.
Yeah,
I'm
turn.
excited. Okay, guess what I beat.
Legend of Zelda for the 58th time.
Beat, Rolf?
I just want you guys to ask me, because you've been telling me that I have to play this game, so I played the game, and I've been playing Mass Effect. I beat Mass Effect 1. Okay.
Nice.
Actually, wait. Correction. I almost messed everything up. until I asked you guys, hey, is this the last level? And then Marcus was like, why are you there? Why did this person not make it? Did you do this side mission? I'm like, I don't do fetch quests. And you're like, no, they're very important. And I'm like, are they? They're a part of the storyline? And I'm like, oh, I had to go back.
This trilogy requires you to do extra work.
Yes, I'm like, oh wait, so it does. It's very important to do the side missions. It does pertain to the characters, their story, and it actually gives you better options to either, like befriend them and save them in the future because they trust you. I didn't know that, man. I'm just used to grinding. I thought it was just like do side missions for leveling up. I didn't know they had very important storylines, but thank you guys for saving me, making a big mistake, beating the game with everyone dead. I don't even know if that's even possible for part 1. I'd probably succeed. They'd be like, bro, that's a new feature. But I love it. It passes, guys. I think it's a great game.
So you like it? That's what you're telling us.
I like it. I have my personal opinions.
Okay.
But my personal opinions apparently kind of hurts Marcus when I say it. When I don't read the codex or the backstories.
They actually have like a physical copy that you can purchase for Mass Effect.
Wow. That's dedication. That's dedication.
I believe so, right, Marcus? They still have it?
Oh, you mean like a physical copy of the codex?
Yes, I believe there's one.
I haven't looked something like that up, but I mean that would be kind of cool.
That's too much.
I believe there is. I believe.
Dude, that game. There's just so much. There's just so much.
Well, you're supposed to take it. Yeah, you're supposed to take it a little bit at a time, Roth. You're not supposed to just try to fly through.
Listen, I don't have time. I'm getting old, guys. I'm getting very old. I don't have enough time.
We all are aware that we are over the hunch as far as gamers go.
Die yesterday. I want to make sure I beat Mass Effect before
you have plenty of time to read the codex.
Yeah, you can actually physically purchase the codex and read the codex as you play.
I was playing this game so much before I went to bed that I was literally falling asleep on the couch with like that slow blink. And then I open my eyes and I'm like, oh, the game is still on. I should save and go to sleep now. But there's a lot of reading, and I get it. I was playing part 1. So part 1 is like you have to paint the picture, the premise of the whole entire universe. So,
I will be honest. Yeah, I'll be honest. Number 2 is my favorite.
Oh, so far part 2 is great because I did jump on part 2 too. I got very impatient, and I said, yeah, you know what? Let me just take a peek. Let me just transfer my let me transfer my shepherd. I got a female shepherd, and just see the intro. And then like 3 or 4 hours later, I'm still playing. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop.
That's how they get you.
It's great. It's great. And part 2, again, since you already know the universe, I hope you do when you jump on the sequels. It makes it a lot easier just to start with action, or more story that requires like fighting back and forth. I thought it was dope, so I like it. I'm excited, guys. So thank you for that suggestion, and I'll probably beat that game tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I was gonna say the only downside I hate about the Legend Edition, the new remaster, is they did take the online out. Which kind of sad because I feel like you're not gonna get the full experience satisfaction that we did with the online version to get your 5,000 captain points. I think it was 5,000.
Well, that's what I was about to tell you. They did fix it. So now if you're playing part 1, 2, and 3,
so they give you the points as you go?
As you go, exactly. Realistically, if you're playing from part 1, you're gathering those points to prepare for the last to final one in part 3. So that's my understanding of it. I was watching videos of what they tweaked of the game. So
Ruff, you're not supposed to know what those are yet.
I had to because I didn't remember part 1. It was after I beat part 1. I never played it. I never finished it on the Xbox 360, but I knew there was things that were different.
You're not supposed to know why you need to play the multiplayer for part 3. There's a reason for it, but now
multiplayer. Oh yeah, it said it. Yeah, it did say that.
Oh
Sorry.
Hey, God.
Listen, this game is so old, so don't judge me. I'm going back and I'm playing it anyways, and I got spoiled of the finale of part 3 when part 3 came out I was spoiled since then, and I had a friend who shall not be named. You know who you are, and you're listening. I know you are. That you're the one that ruined the ending for me, and I'm not gonna repeat it. And now I'm not gonna repeat it.
I just remember going in when Marcus was my boss, and he would be like, "Hold on, I'm on an online game right now," and I said, "Marcus, you're stupid. There's no online play for Mass Effect." And then he looked at me and said, "Oh, young Padawan, they now have it in number 3." And that's when I grew up as a man.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning this. That's true. There you go, guys.
That's how it started.
That's when Marcus taught Daly how to be a real man. That's not right.
How to be a real man by playing video games.
Video games. There you go. No, that's been my life.
I remember Marcus did his first playthrough of number 3, and he was sad because it wasn't the outcome that he wanted. And so he said, "I'm going to replay it to get the outcome I want."
Well,
Marcus.
hang on. It wasn't the outcome I wanted, but it was the outcome I think I deserved. So.
Oh gosh.
But then he said, "I'm going to replay it so that way I can actually have the outcome that I want."
So now that I have you guys and your Mass Effect players, how bummed out? It's okay. You don't have to say anything about the storyline, but I just want to know, how bummed out were you when you completed part 3 and you were not satisfied with it, the ending? Did you get that feeling?
Hang on.
Respectfully, I don't know yet.
Let me back up. When I say that I wasn't satisfied, it wasn't. I don't necessarily mean that I didn't like it. I enjoyed the ending. It kind of, the way that mine ended kind of came out of left field a bit, and I remember being a little torn up about it afterwards. And so, yeah, after it was over, I was sad, but it wasn't because I thought they did a bad job of it. I was sad because it was this long adventure that was done.
And that's what you got? You're like, that's it?
No, you're misunderstanding me. It's not that I thought that it was bad. It was the closing of this long journey, and and you're just like, it's over, it's done. Like
it's not, baby. It's coming back, right?
I remember when we all wanted number 4. We were like, there has to be a continuation. We were all heartbroken.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. But there was a sequel.
Well, Andromeda is a sequel by timeline alone, just because of when it takes place. Yes, but it doesn't tie into what happens in 2 and 3. And then they have announced that they are working on, I'm guessing, an actual like direct sequel to 3.
Yes. That's what they're working on.
We don't know
right now.
Yeah, we don't know much about it. We do know for a fact that as long as like their little teaser trailer is accurate, that it does happen after 3. Yes.
Oh, see,
I got the one that I got. I'll go ahead and spoil it. Well, I won't spoil too much, but the ending I got was the gasp of air at the end.
Okay, well, remember, no spoilers. So I just want to know how you felt after you watched the ending of part 3, and not necessarily the details on the story and why. Just, did it leave a bad taste in your mouth?
No.
I was kind of like what Marcus said. You build up this game for so long, and then something like that happens, and you're like excited that it's over, but then you're like, well, that's not what I wanted.
The reason why I'm asking you this is because I'm mentally preparing myself, and I don't. I'm getting super emotionally attached to this game and the characters, and I know what you mean. I know what both of you mean, but it's like I'm on denial.
So what did you pick for the decision in number 1?
And number 1,
between Bros Before Girls, or did you pick the love of your life?
Okay, first of all, nobody thinks Ashley is the love of their life. All right.
That was so strong. I was like, what? Somebody really loves this NPC a little too much. No. What decision I made?
He's asking if you picked Caden or Ashley.
I wanted. I have a very funny story about it because I did kind of mention it earlier that I was gonna keep the girl alive and send the dude, but then I was really listening, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't like the way this person perceives aliens versus this person that's more cooperative. So I'm like, this person's gotta go.
She's coming on a little too strong.
She was coming too strong all the time, and I was getting mad because my favorite characters are the aliens. And then she's saying some xenophobic stuff.
Yeah, xenophobic.
And I'm like, dude, why you gotta be like that? They're clearly on her side. So she bothered me, so I sent her. That was like a last minute decision because I told my daughter, and she's like, that's not cool. She doesn't sound cool. The other person does. And I'm like, fine, you're right. So that was how I made my decision. Because I was like, I was thinking, am I going to survive this, having to hear her in part 2 and part 3 being probably the same? I was like, I don't want to chance it. So,
I'll say this. She doesn't actually, she improves from what I remember. Yeah. She improves because you're not going to see, like, if you had kept her alive, you wouldn't see her much in 2 at all. Yeah, she's not relevant.
More 3.
Yeah, but by the time she's in 3, if I remember right, she improves her mood and opinions greatly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How many people can you romance in part 1? I gotta know this because I gotta tell you a funny story.
Like at a time?
Yeah. How many people can you actually make them like fall in love with you in part 1? Part 1.
You could only have one romantic partner.
Yeah.
So that's why it was a male or the female, correct?
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah,
Either Ashley or Caden.
So,
right?
I think I understand what you're asking. So, if you're a female, you either...
I mean, like, can I romance, like, other characters, like, Tali or...
Yeah.
You're either a Mr. Goody Goody Two-Shoes or you're a badass. There's only one in between.
Well, hang on. No, I get what you're saying. So, as a male ship, you could have romanced Tali.
Yeah.
Or
right.
Liara.
Oh, there you go.
Or Ashley. Fem ship is Liara or Caden.
That's the problem. That makes more sense.
Yeah, unfortunately, one is kind of limited. But Liara is the only one that both genders can romance. If I remember right.
Okay, all right. Because I was like, why are they making me romance Caden? And I'm trying not to make him like me. And it almost happened. I kept calling it out.
Awkward.
Like, no.
It's super awkward. Yeah. He's like, hey, am I catching some vibes? Am I catching some vibes there, Commander? And you're just like, no, no, absolutely not. No.
I know. I kept stopping it, but I was like, am I flirting? I don't know what's going on.
So,
but I got scared. I called it off though. Nothing happened.
They always say when you're nice, people think you're flirting.
Yeah.
Yes, bro. I was nice to all of them.
So, well,
you got to replay it and be an asshole because that's the best part.
I don't know.
Well, I think that we could sit here and discuss Mass Effect.
We can
for hours, but unfortunately, we will not get to what we wanted to talk about tonight. So we will put a pin in this discussion and we'll discuss it another time for sure.
Okay.
But
okay.
I'm just trying to be a good podcast host, guys. Anyways,
I actually like it. The title of this could be Rolf's impression of Mass Effect. That'll be the title of this episode.
Sure.
Just make him do his own YouTube video on it for sure. But as far as what we wanted to talk about tonight that we pre-planned, it's Daly's turn to bring us something juicy to discuss. Daly, what's on your mind?
So I wanted to talk about the topic of today's discussion is a pretty easy one. I'm just kidding. It's not easy. Is the 3 keys to a successful video game, meaning outside of marketing, because we know that marketing is the number one thing that a game needs to be successful, because if you don't market it, nobody's going to buy your game. But what I wanted to talk about, what was the three key things that a video game does need to make it a successful game. And successful could be in the eye of the beholder in any way that you want it to be. Successful could be that, it was a great completionist game, it was just a fun game, whatever it could be. But The topic is 3 keys to a successful video game.
All right, who wants to go first?
Roth, how about you go first, buddy?
All right, my 3 are going to be gameplay first, second will be story, and third will be music. Those are my 3. Because gameplay first, the reason why I say gameplay first is because if the game is strong enough to make you want to continue playing it and you enjoy the full experience, then once you add that story element to it, it boosts up the universe of the game you're playing, and then the music immerses you. That's how you say it, right?
Immerse, yes.
So it sucks you in too, so it just paints the picture. And that's why I feel like gameplay first, then story, then music. That's my explanation, at least.
That's your 3 that would make a perfect video game for you. A successful, not perfect, but a 3 things that would make a video game successful.
Yes. Gameplay first. If they manage to make a game that's extremely fun, that's why it'll captivate the person. The story is the universe, and the music makes you get sucked into that universe. So it's a vortex for me.
Okay.
But that's mine.
Okay. Marcus, what are your 3 keys?
So I agree with Roth on the first 2, except I'm going to flip them.
What?
This is his opinion.
A game has got to have a compelling story for me. I don't care how good the gameplay is. If the gameplay is amazing, but the story falls flat, then I feel like all I'm doing is playing an arcade game. You know?
That's true. That's true.
And so I need the story to be really good first, and that's why I feel like single player campaign games are still some of the most successful out there. There are some that are like games as a service that are still doing well with the story, especially for depending on like how long they've lasted. And like I'm very biased when I say this, but I love Destiny for that very reason. The one thing about Destiny that keeps me coming back is not necessarily the gameplay. Like the gameplay's fine, but like the gameplay, true. I can play like hours of the gameplay with no sound and just like listening to music or something. It's just one of those I can turn my brain off for a bit, but the story and the lore of it are what keep me coming back to Destiny. And so I just feel like story's always been the number 1 thing for me. 2, obviously, then is the gameplay. If the story is lacking, if it at least has good gameplay, then I can still find it to be a fun game. Like I said, it may not resonate as much with me.
Wow.
My third one is it's not marketing. It's sometimes I feel like you have certain games that come out that are perfect for the time that we live in. Yeah. And I think some games are maybe too far ahead of their time, and some games are just perfect. I think on the show before we talked about games like Fall Guys, for instance. I think games like Fall Guys and Among Us especially were perfect games that came out either right before or during the pandemic. And it was these easy little games that brought people together, and it was, and there's no story to it, right? And the gameplay is like simple, but
very violent. Both of them very violent.
Kind of, yeah.
But they look cute.
But the fact that games like that came out when we all needed like an escape from being cooped up was pretty interesting to me. I think, a lot of times in these past few episodes, Ralph, you and I especially have talked a lot about Hideo Kojima. I think his games,
of course,
I think the only reason his games don't become more commercial success is because he is ahead of his time in every sense of the word. And I think just some of the stuff he creates, it's looked back on later instead of looked back on as it's happening. I think the closest game that ever came to being a sign of the times when those times were happening was Death Stranding. But it just happened right before the pandemic hit. But, people still love looking back at Metal Gear Solid 2 because they pretty much predicted content suppression and curating memes and information on the internet to suit some people's interests or to block out information, disinformation, figure out what gets posted where, that kind of thing. And we're just now seeing that was more of a prediction than fiction.
Oh, it's creepy how similar. It's awesome.
So I think, yeah, so in conclusion, I think that third factor sometimes it's not about necessarily just another element of the game, but it sometimes is, did this game come out in the time when it's telling a message, or it's fulfilling a demand that is popping up in society, you know? So those are my three.
Jesus, that was all deep, dude.
I'm a deep person.
I like gameplay. I like story, and I like music. And then you come with something.
Well, maybe the hope is that, like, between the three of us, we can come up with up to 9 things that all matter in some form or fashion to making a game successful. So, but Daly, what are yours, buddy?
So mine will first and foremost always be the story mode, because we all grew up on before online play was a thing. We all lived on story. So mine is a story. Like, I think the greatest story will always make a video game the greatest game. For instance, everybody loved Skyrim. Everybody knows why Skyrim was ahead of its time when it was a game, when the game came out originally. And then they made Elder Scrolls, but we're not going to talk about that. I think the second one I can agree upon with Marcus is gameplay. If you don't have a great combat system or whatever button layout, no matter how great the story mode is, you're not going to get the full experience. And my third one, and this can be into a broad, this goes into just like a little piece of sand in the universe, but incentives to keep playing the game. And I'm not talking about like, I got the coolest gun, the gun that does like 9,000 damage. That could be an incentive that you want to do, but you have to play X amount of hours, or you have to make a perfect raid or whatever. But like the most successful games always have an incentive to keep playing. If you really think about it, like Mass Effect, if you think about it, you can upgrade weapons, you have to buy money, and those weapons make you get better as you move forward into the game. You can't have the same weapons that like the common weapons and try to fight, at the very end of number 2. You're just not going to make it. So the incentive is to build your army, build your weaponry and stuff like that. So there's always something that has to be an incentive to the game to make you keep playing. But the story mode was what makes the sense you know what I'm trying to say.
Would you say, I was going to say real fast, would you say another word for incentives would be just if a game has a replayability factor to it? Yes, replayability, but with like higher rewards. So the incentive is for you to you got the reward, like you got the common reward, right? Rather where it was a skin, say Mass Effect, like you could, like if Mass Effect had an online ability, right? But you could only get a certain skin if you played through all 3 on just normally. And then there was an incentive to get like another skin, but it was like LED lights were running through the chest and the abs of the skin or whatever. But then you had to play it all the way through again on the next difficulty. So it replayability.
Was so I guess that kind of
so replayability, incentives kind of thing, because it's just like when you play Destiny, there's an incentive for you to keep playing these raids because there's a reward ability. So the that's what I'm trying to get at, is there's always something to make you come back to the game, to keep playing the game, which is making the game successful.
Okay, replayability incentive. Yep.
So well, that's what I feel like is the best 3 keys to a game, because anybody can have a battle pass, not naming names of any companies, that you could easily just pay for it. But what about the games that make you play the game for the rewards? Like Destiny, you have to do these raids to acquire a certain reward. I don't know if you can just purchase it, but that's kind of
you absolutely cannot. You
cannot
buy it.
Exactly. Exactly. So there's an incentive for you to play the raid, which is replayability, which allows you to enjoy the game because it is successful in that way of doing raids. So that's what I feel like are the 3 keys to my game that would be successful.
Speaking of Destiny, just briefly, like, not only are there like the in-game rewards that I find really cool, but I think I've discussed this with you guys before. Like, I buy a lot of stuff off of the store from the developer Bungie, but it's It's the Bungie rewards section of their merch store, which is the stuff you can only buy once you've achieved a certain matching activity and level in the game. So like you completed this activity by this period of time, you now get this thing that you can buy for real. And so, yeah, so I think that's a really good point. And then also, I think sometimes the replayability isn't even about what do I get the second, third, fifth time out of this. I think sometimes replayability for people is just like, it's a comfort zone factor. It's like, this is my comfort game that I love playing once, twice, 3 times a year because I know exactly what's going to happen. And yet every time I get through it, I enjoy it that much more. Like, I think a common one is people treat a lot of the From Software games that way, like Dark Souls or Bloodborne especially. Yeah. I've heard so many stories of people who play Bloodborne annually because they just love the game. And I think for me, I'm trying to steer away from anything that has Activision's name on it, but Sekiro Shadows Die Twice might have to be an annual game for me.
Wow, yeah, you really like that game.
Yeah. I recently finished it for the second time. I didn't play it in 2020, but I did play it in 2019 when it came out. Wow. And yeah, I think I'm gonna make that a yearly game that I played. It's so good. So the only rewards I can think of that I would get out of playing it all the time would be finding a more efficient way to get through it. But for the most part, yeah. I mean, I totally get it. And I think like, but we all agree, obviously, story and gameplay is where it's at. And then, like, I think it's interesting. We each brought a third topic to the table. Like, Rolf, you had music. Daly's is replayability. Mine was just the sign of the times and like the time of our lives when the game comes out. So I think that's some really cool stuff.
We pretty much described Metal Gear Solid with our number 3.
Oh, okay.
The music was epic. The story was amazing. With
Is that
replayability.
Is that out on Game Pass?
Well, no. What you can do is
it is. It wasn't.
Well, 5 is maybe, but if you want to play the entire Metal Gear series, the only way that I know of without you buying a whole like a PS, you could do it one or two ways if you want to easily do this. You can either go to a GameStop or something, get you a PS3.
Those are still open.
Yeah, surprisingly, you get you a PS3, and there is a physical game, Metal Gear Solid: The Legacy Collection. It's every one of them except for Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, but that's like the next gen version or whatever. You could do it that way. The way that I'm doing it, because I'm slowly trying to replay through the whole series, is it's a combination of finding some of them off of like GOG.com or Steam and playing PC versions, and then the stuff that's not on PC, what I do is I use the PlayStation Now service, which is kind of like what Game Pass does. It allows you to like download and stream old games on the PlayStation catalog. You're eating up a little bit more bandwidth. Like Game Pass lets you just fully download it to your system, whereas the PlayStation, it kind of depends on what title it is as to like whether or not you can do that.
Weird.
Yeah, but you can pretty much play almost every single one of them through PlayStation Now as well. So there's ways to do it. It just depends on how you want to go about it and what kind of like bandwidth you got to work with something like that.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's the best game, best story. One of them. It's up there. But yeah, guys, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Our games are gonna get better. Stories are getting better. Gameplay's getting better. So. The music's getting epic too, so I'm happy.
Absolutely. It's what head of Xbox Phil Spencer always says. It's never been a better time to be a gamer. He says it every year. Every year he says it. It's never been a better time. Well, he didn't say it this year because I don't know. Like he missed this opportunity.
It wasn't a better year. It wasn't a good year.
Maybe I should
He probably said, "Hey, put this in my speech," and they said, "Yeah," and then they said, "I ain't putting that in the freaking speech." Are you kidding me?
He probably tweeted it out at least 3 times this year.
All right.
But if by some stroke of luck you're listening, Phil, you're an amazing man. Please don't hate me.
Please don't hate me.
I want to be on the Xbox team. Let's talk.
And that's how we end the show.
Oh yeah.
Alright, guys, this was fun. Next time we got Marcus is your topic next, right? So you pick the topic and you're gonna let us know why. But everyone, thank you for being here again. I appreciate you listening to us, and hope you come back. You know, I'm gonna pass it on to Daily. Where can they find us?
They can follow us on Twitter at XPGalore, or they can follow us on Instagram at XPGalore, as well as Buzzsprout, for all your audio needs out there. If you're listening to our podcast when you drive, which, you know, hey, to each his own.
Be safe.
And then also you can find us on TikTok at XPGalore as well. Yeah, that's all of our little social medias.
Awesome.
All right, Marcus, say bye-bye.
Bye bye.
You're killing Marcus off? What the
I
heck?
feel like you're passing this role on to me. Hang on, let me see if I can do it justice. Well, guys, it's been great. It's been fun. We'll catch you on the flippity flip. For all of us here at XP Lore, my name is Marcus.
Rafael.
I'm Daily.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Bye.